Billy Napier has done it once again. I know that this is a pre-recorded version of Locked On Gators post commit, but I'm going to treat just like a live version. I can't go live today, but I'm treating just like a live version. We've got no logo, no music. We got the sunglasses on because Blue Chip Billy did it again. Yes, he did it again. Kelby Collins has committed to the University of Florida. He's going to be a Florida Gator. I'll take the shades off now. But Blue Chip Billy does it once again. The Florida Gators were the number 13 ranked class going into the weekend. This commit gets Florida to number 12 with 252.15 points, just zero point zero 0.07 points behind Tennessee. Florida has jumped USC, that's California, not South Carolina, because I will never call them USC. They're at best SC. So Florida is now just zero point zero 0.07 points behind Tennessee. Um, if things go according to plan, Florida will be passing Tennessee tomorrow, less than 5 points behind Penn State and 12 points behind Miami. So Florida is quickly climbing towards that top 10 ranking. Florida is quickly closing ground on Miami. I realize also, sorry, I sound horrible. Allergies are whooping me today. But with Kelby Collins, the Florida Gators defensive recruiting class has gotten even better because that's something that, Florida's been working towards. But the number 70 player in the nation, according to the 24/7 composite, which is, of course, developed of a bunch of the major recruiting sites. John Garcia, Sports Illustrated's director of football recruiting and Locked On's recruiting insider, earlier this morning on a Locked On Gators bonus episode where we talked about Kelby Collins, which you go ahead, check that out because you're going to get information there that I'm not going to repeat here. But John had said, Kelby Collins just barely missed the SI 99 that came out earlier this week. And that's high praise because, I'm top 100 kid in the nation here. I believe if it was like an SI 103, Kelby Collins would have been on that list. But Kelby Collins is a Florida Gator. He joins TJ Searcy and Gavin Hill as defensive linemen that have committed. There is, of course, also Isaiah Nixon, who was formerly a Central Florida Knight commit that Billy Napier flipped because Billy Napier does that. He's like I've said it before, he's a hash slinging slasher. One hand is just a spatula because he's just flipping so much at this point. But defensive line has been improved. Isaiah Nixon is an edge rusher here, so I will not include him as a defensive line, similar to how Kelby Collins, TJ Searcy, and Gavin Hill are classified. But yeah, Kelby Collins is the second commit for August for the Florida Gators. He is the second commit this week for the Florida Gators behind Jaden Robinson, a linebacker that they flipped earlier this week. I believe it was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And Kelby Collins is likely not the last Gators commit, even for the weekend. If we're gonna be honest here, that's how I'm looking at it. Kelby Collins beat out Kelby Collins committed to Florida over South Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia. We know that it was really Florida or South Carolina here with Alabama as a dark horse choice. I said this earlier with the bonus episode with John, where I was like, earlier this week, Kelby Collins posted a picture of him wearing Georgia gear, and I just saw all the comments where, "Come on, dog! Like, we know you're not going to Georgia. Like, we know that it's really down to 3 schools. We know Georgia ain't one of the schools you're going to." So there's that. But South Carolina was the biggest competitor for Florida, and after Florida just flipped Jaden Robinson from South Carolina. Billy Napier, could he be? I know I said this for Penn State, but could Billy Napier be smoking on the South Carolina pack now? Like is that what we're talking about here? Because Billy Napier now, Jaden Robinson this week, Kelby Collins this week, and yeah, we can talk about Alabama, but here's the thing, and John kind of alluded to it also in earlier today's bonus episode. But he's like, it's kind of Florida and South Carolina from Kelby, and then Kelby's dad wants him to go to Bama, and he's an in-state kid for Bama, so you can never count out Nick Saban. But the expectation really for the past week or so was that Kelby Collins would be a Florida Gator. And I mean, even longer than a week, really, but this past week kind of solidified it. Yeah, that's just what it is. So that's fantastic for Florida Gators. we're about to talk more about this Kelby Collins commit, and we're about to take a look at this recruiting class in general for the Florida Gators. But first, a quick word from BetOnline, because if you think the Florida Gators will win more than 7 games, bet the over. If you think they'll win less than 7 games, bet the under, because right now on BetOnline, the Gators win total is set at a flat 7. So, I mean, you can bet either way, and if it's 7, then you get your money back. But we all know ties in sports in general, not fun. They suck. Ties in betting, less fun. They suck more. That's just what it is. Sorry, that's how I feel about it. BetOnline's your number one source for all of your betting needs and sports information. I've been using BetOnline for years now. I'm having a lot more fun with it now, more recently too, with betting on football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, tennis. Not tennis though, because tennis I suck at. Darts, table tennis, snooker, pool, League of Legends, Counter Strike Go. I believe it, global operation is what I believe it is. Betting on politics, economics, finance. You could bet on if aliens are going to invade and which country they'll invade first. There's everything there. Just do it. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn all about the trends and action. Check out BetOnline. It's where the game starts. Now we're talking about this bonus episode here of Locked On Gators for the Kelby Collins commit, which again, not live like I usually do, but I can't go live today, so treating it just like a live one, like I've said. That's just what we're doing. And like I said before, this is a number 13 class now that has now gone up to the number 12 class. And I would like to take a minute to just talk about how incredible this recruiting cycle has been for the Florida Gators. Because this recruiting cycle is, I mean, just what, a month ago, we were looking at Florida and we were like, wow, number 23 in the nation, not great, couple tough L's. We'll say a month and a week, because I believe it's been a month and 6 days since, Marcus Stokes and Trayon Webb came in and Eugene Wilson III. So we'll say a month and a week. Of this recruiting class is struggling. The Florida Gators coaching staff is struggling with adding players. They lost on Francis Maui-Goa, who we thought Florida would get. They lost on up until a couple days before his commitment. Florida was in play. They lost Jaden Rashada, who it came down. Both of those players went to Miami over Florida. More recently, Florida lost Malik Bryant to Miami, which stunk. But this turnaround over the past 5 to 6 weeks has been incredible for a class that, like I said, has been struggling. We're not going to talk about the Tommy Kinsler flip to Miami because, again, once he decommitted, I've been told Florida stopped even pursuing him. So that wasn't going to happen anyway. But Florida has made a concerted effort into adding players in the state of Florida. They've said we want to dominate close and then branch out. Florida's now got 18 commits. Kelby Collins is the highest ranked one of them. 15 of the 18 commits are in the state of Florida. 2 are in the state of Georgia, and Kelby Collins is the first commit from the state of Alabama for the Florida Gators 2023 recruiting class, that dream team. He is the second top 100 player. Obviously, we already had one in Aidan Mizell, and Kelby Collins is a new highest ranked commit, so obviously he's a little bit higher, but not much higher. Aidan Mizell, number 72 nationally based on the composite. Kelby Collins, number 70 nationally based on the composite, so it's pretty close. But, I mean, Sean Spencer is going to have the time of his life with Kelby Collins because, and we talked about this a little bit with John before, but we went more in depth with John before. But Sean Spencer has said, he wants Desmond Watson to be a versatile player. He doesn't want him to just be a 2-gap space eater. He wants him to be able to rush the passer, be able to 1-gap penetrate, be able to do all these things. Javon Dexter moving to defensive end, which is still just D-tackle, really. It's just a different scheme, so you call it a different thing. But he's moving to defensive end. And that positional versatility where he said, he's going to bump inside. He's going to do all these things. But we want this positional versatility from Javon Dexter, from Desmond Watson. And I get the feeling we're going to get the same thing from Kelby Collins, like John talked about. John went more in depth with it, but Kelby Collins is a DN that's moving to the interior, so it's the opposite of what Javon Dexter did, but also the same thing Javon Dexter did in high school to college. So there's that. This is just another one of those examples of positional versatility where Sean Spencer is going to ask Kelby Collins to do everything he's asking Javon Dexter to do. which, if he's as eager to develop as Javon Dexter is, that's going to look incredible with this Sean Spencer defense. But Florida still needs help in the trenches, which I think Florida will get some more help on the defensive line tomorrow. We don't know a time yet, but tomorrow. And I mean, linebacker still needs help. Jaden Robinson's a great ad. He's a 4-star. He's one. It's amazing that we're talking about this and we're like, yeah, Jaden Robinson is one of the lowest ranked commits in Florida's 2023 recruiting class, but he's still a 4-star. And then we do that with everybody except Bryce Lovett and Tyree Patterson is a 4-star. So you can go Creed Whitmore. Creed Whitmore is the third worst player in the class according to rankings. But he's still a 4-star player. He's still a blue chip player. So this blue chip blue chip ratio, blue chip percentage, whatever you want to call it, phenomenal for the Florida Gators. But yeah, still need help on the trenches, specifically offensive line now, especially with, I think, Cameron James committing tomorrow. So still need help on the offensive line, still need help at linebacker, but it's shaping up to be nice. Florida now has 18 commits. You're allowed a 25 scholarship limit, so 7 kids left. If um, Cameron James commits tomorrow, then it's 6 kids left. So the recruiting class with scholarship wise is rounding out right now. We're talking about that, and I think that Florida is going to add more guys at the top, or at least one more guy at the top. I'm hoping for Kamani McLean, and probably going to add some lower 4-stars and 3-stars, but we'll see. Because again, I believe it was Josh Pate was like brought up the stat where 90% of the kids will stay committed, but 10% will decommit. So some of these kids might decommit, especially if they commit after July. Um, we'll see what happens with it. Thanks for being Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast. Hopefully tomorrow I won't be as congested because this is just horrible right now. But we'll be back tomorrow with more bonus content for Locked On Gators. We got 2 scheduled bonus episodes. If there's a commit tomorrow, I will be able to go live for it. So we'll have that if Cameron James commits. I'm Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find my written work with Whole Line Sports and Giants Country FSI.com. And I will see you all tomorrow.